So let's talk a little bit about recovering your domain name. Here's a little bit about domain name recovery, which is a process that DNAccess goes through, and how we steal back or actually recover domain names that are stolen. So what would you do if you wake up and your domain name is, or your website's down? First, look at the different scenarios of what could have happened. And on our website, we have stolen domain name theft sections. And there's different scenarios, and it's describing what you really should do. But also consider different scenarios, for example, of whether or not someone has hacked into your domain name registrar account, or if there's a situation where a former employee has taken the domain name, whether your web designer has taken the domain name. Look at whether or not the domain name has expired and you just lost the domain name and you need to renew it again, or maybe purchase the domain name back from the current owner. There's a lot of different scenarios of things that happen, and how you lost your domain name and what you can do to recover it. What we found, though, is, to be honest with you, that there's only about 10% of lost domain names that are actually truly stolen domain names. There's some kind of other issue going on in a lot of cases. But if your domain name is actually stolen and someone has gained access to your registrar account and transferred it out to another registrar, first check to see if you still have access to that domain name at your current domain name registrar. If not, there might be some other scenarios where, for example, the domain name was actually registered at a different registrar and you are actually using a reseller in that case. So the domain name actually still may be in your name if you don't have access to, for example, your Shopify or your Wix account or wherever the domain name was lost from. In some cases, you actually may have some questions of really what's going on. I mentioned the reseller. You may have purchased the domain name from a reseller, not actually a domain registrar. So you need to figure out where the domain name is registered currently. If you have no access to the account, try the forgot password at that registrar to see if you can gain access. Look at the whois, which is lookup.icann.org, to see whether the domain name is registered right now and see if it's still registered. If you recognize the registrar and you know where it is, you may be able to contact them. Currently, if the domain has been transferred to another registrar without your permission, you should contact the registrar, your registrar, and then talk to them about what happened, note all the details on the call, who you talked to, when you talked to them, and so forth. If it is stolen, file a report with the theft about the theft with your local authorities, such as local police, local sheriff's office, so you have some kind of documentation. If you need to file something legally later on, such as a lawsuit, to be able to gain access back to the domain name, then there needs to be some kind of legal case filed in that, filed by an attorney. So you may need that documentation. That will help recover the domain name if attorneys get involved. But in fact, if it does appear that the domain has been stolen, contact us at DNAccess. So we may start investigating and help recover the domain names, oftentimes without any legal having to be involved. We can't stress this enough, though. Time is of the essence here. When a domain is stolen, it's got to be reported and acted upon, hopefully within hours, and not necessarily days. Because if the domain has been transferred out of your account to another account at your registrar, and then it's in the process of being transferred to another registrar, then there's a limited time to stop that transfer. You have up just days, up to 5 days, typically. There's a certain amount of time where you can dispute that domain transfer and keep it at the same registrar, but once it's gone and moved over to another registrar, it's a little more difficult to get everything back. So the sooner you can report the theft, the sooner you can contact us, easier for us to get involved and get the website back up and running if your website is down. Domain name thieves, though, can be relentless in their attempts to hide their involvement. So they'll use things, various methods. A domain name that is stolen, though, can be transferred. And if it is transferred from the current registrar to another registrar, it could be sold again to another buyer. It could be sold then again and again in a matter of days. And so it is imperative and critical that you get this process started. Again, if your domain name is important to you, and I know it is, and you lose the name, Gain Access can help you recover the domain name. But keep in mind that there's a lot of different scenarios, and we need to fully understand what happened to your domain name and what you think happened to your domain name. And then so we can investigate. So document everything when you contact your domain name registrar. And if they cannot help or won't help you, then you need to contact us. And then we get in touch with you and we'll get this process started. Gain Access is here to help get your domain name back so you can get your website back up and running pretty quickly.